Dear students, welcome in the class of MA Final English Literature, paper second, 19th century English Literature. I am Dr. Sumer Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Government Lohia College, Churu. Dear students, today we will study G.M. Hopkins's poem The Windower. As we know that G.M. Hopkins is one of the most important poet of English literature. G.M. Hopkins is such a poet who belongs to the Victorian age as well as to the modern age. By his time, he belongs to the Victorian age because he wrote his poems during the time of Victorian age and he lived during the time of Victorian age. So, by the time chronically he belongs to the Victorian age, therefore he is the Victorian poet. But as a poet, or we judge Hopkins as the characteristics of his poetry or on the basis of the characteristics of his poetry, then he belongs to the modern age. So, due to the characteristics of his poetry, he is a modern poet because his poetry reflects all the quality of modern poetry. So, we can say that he is also a modern poet. As a poet, G.M. Hopkins is a religious poet because he was a clergyman, and being a clergyman, he believes in the supremacy and the power of God. He believes that God is the creator of this world and he is the father of this world. So, as a poet, he is a religious poet and he wrote all the poems in a religious fervor or in a religious temperament. He wrote his poetry into the Miltonic sonnet, or we can say into the Petrarchan form of sonnet. So, he wrote his poems in the Petrarchan form of sonnet. Today's poem is The Windower, and Windower is the most important and representative poem of G.M. Hopkins, and this poem is also we can say that very important poem of G.M. Hopkins, and it is a Petrarchan sonnet divided into two parts, octave of 8 lines and then sestet of 6 lines. This poem is also dedicated to our Lord Christ, or it is dedicated to God. The poem is addressed to a bird named falcon. So, the quality of this bird is that this bird flies into the early morning and it flies higher and higher. So, in its flight it makes a lot of effort to take its flight into the higher part of the sky. So, the bird makes a lot of struggle, the bird does a lot of efforts. So, the effort and struggle is the symbol of God, because when we do efforts, then in that effort, in that struggle, the shining comes, and that shining is the symbol of God. So, the falcon bird is the symbol of God, and whenever the poet sees this bird in the early morning, then into the effort of that bird or into the body of that bird, God sees G.M. Hopkins sees God, and there is the reflection of God. So, he says that this is not a bird, it is the crown prince of morning and it is the favorite bird of morning. So, let us start the poem. I quote this morning's morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's dauphin, dapple drawn falcon in his riding of the rolling level underneath his steady air. So, the poet addresses the bird falcon, and the falcon bird is the symbol of Jesus Christ or God. So, he says that today morning, or we can say that in the early morning, the poet says that I saw or I caught the sight of falcon bird, and that falcon bird is the morning's minion, because the bird always takes its flight into the early morning or at the time of dawn. So, it is the morning's minion. It means the bird is the crown prince of morning, kingdom of daylight's dauphin. He is the kingdom of daylight's dauphin. It means kingdom of daylight means morning. Morning is the kingdom of daylight, and the bird is a dauphin. The bird is a prince, and the bird is the crown of early morning. Dapple, dapple means multicolored. Dan, dan means early morning. Dran falcon. So this bird is dran. This bird takes flight into the early morning, when the early morning is full of various colors, especially crimson color and the red color. In his riding, in its riding, because the bird takes flight with a lot of efforts and making the we can say rolls, making the circles of his flight, the bird flies higher and higher into the sky. So in his riding of the rolling level means the bird flies into a circle, and the bird makes so many rolling levels of air when it flies higher and higher into the sky. So rolling level, underneath him steady air. Steady air means at the steady air, at the pressured air, the bird makes a rolling level in its flight, and striding high there, and the bird moves higher and higher into the sky due to its effort, due to its struggle. How he rung upon. So the poet says that the bird makes a rolling level, makes the circle of the flight at its center, as if the bird is moving around a center and moving higher and higher. It means we can say the bird soars into the sky. So upon the reign of wimpling wing means flirting wing. So the bird makes the movement of its wings, and then it goes higher and higher into the sky, making so many rolls with the wimpling, flirting wings in his ecstasy. And ecstasy means the joy, and we can say the happiness. So the bird is making a lot of efforts, but in this effort the bird enjoys happiness, the bird enjoys, we can say, joys, because the bird's target is to soar in the sky, to fly higher and higher in the sky. So at last the bird becomes successful in its higher flight, and the bird becomes invisible to the sight of the poet. So in this way the poet says that the bird is not a simple bird, it's not a, we can say, a normal bird, it's a symbol of a God, it's a symbol of Christ, because the poet see the reflection of God into the body of that bird. In his ecstasy, then off means the bird becomes invisible after its flight. So the poet enjoys the flight, the poet sees the struggle of this bird, and in this struggle the poet enjoys the reflection of God, the reflection of Christ, and after a long time the bird becomes invisible in the sky and off from the eyesight of the poet. Off forth on swing. Off forth means the bird moves forward on its swing, on its flight. As a skate's heel, the poet compares the flight of bird with the heel of the skates. Sweeps smooth on a bow bend, as the skater makes his skating on the wheel of the skate. Then hurl and gliding. Then hurl means move forward, and gliding rebuffed the big wind. Rebuffed means the bird is making effort and proud over its effort, and he is full of, or we can say the bird is full of zeal, enthusiasm, and the big wind, and it fights against the big wind and becomes very bold. My heart in hiding is steered for a bird. The poet says that I am greatly motivated, I am greatly attracted towards the flight of this bird, towards the effort of this bird, towards the adventure of this bird. So the poet says that in my heart in hiding means in the depth of my heart, at the core of my heart, I am greatly attracted towards the bird, and the bird is the symbol of God. The bird is the symbol of faith in God for the poet, because the poet sees the reflection, and the poet sees the picture of God in the flight of this bird or in the body of this bird. So the poet says that my heart in hiding is steered for a bird. the achieve of, it means the success of that bird in this flight, or the achievement of this bird in this flight, the mastery of the thing. And the mastery, it means the skill, or we can say the competency of bird, or the bird has ability, capability to soar in the sky, or to fly higher and higher in the sky. So the poet says that I am very happy with this bird, and I am very happy to see the flight of this bird, the struggle of this bird, and to soaring the bird into the sky. And then the bird goes off, the bird becomes invisible from the eyesight of the poet, and it means this is the achievement of the bird, this is the success of the bird in this height, in this highest flight of the bird in the sky. Brute beauty, brute means multicolored, variegated, and we can say various beauty. And valor, valor means the boldness and the, we can say, adventure of this bird. So the bird is also the symbol of brute beauty, because the bird is full of multicolored beauty. It means the wings and the other parts of the body are of different colors. So there is the beauty in this bird, or in the body of this bird, that is brute, that is multicolored, variegated beauty. And valor is also because the boldness is there, the craze is there, the enthusiasm is there in the body of this bird, or in the personality of this bird. So this bird is the symbol of brute beauty, as well as it is the symbol of valor. And act, act means action, because the bird is also the symbol of adventure. So the bird reflects several quality, because the bird is the symbol of God, the bird is the symbol of multiple beauty, multicolored beauty, the bird is also the symbol of valor, boldness, and the bird is also the symbol of action and adventure. So the bird reflects several good qualities, and therefore the poet is greatly attracted towards this bird named falcon. O air pride plum, here the poet expresses surprise, the poet expresses wonder. Oh, the bird is the symbol of several beautiful things, the bird is the symbol of several positive qualities. Oh, the bird is also we can say full of air, pride, plum. It means there is air, there is enthusiasm, there is, we can say, proud, and there is also pride. And plum, it means the bird is full of plum, the bird is full of enthusiasm, the bird is full of power, and the bird is full of positive qualities. Buckle, it means all these qualities are integrated into the personality of this bird. All the qualities are captured there, as a buckle captures something, a buckle binds something. In the same way, the air, plum, pride, etc. are bound in the personality of this body, in the body of this bird. And the fire that breaks, and the fire that breaks, it means a shining or a fire that also reflects from the body of the bird, because the bird is making struggle, the bird is making adventure, and the struggle and the adventure reflects the shining, the brightness of the bird. And therefore the brightness, the fire that breaks from thee, the poet addresses to the bird thee, and then a billion times told lovelier. So the bird is billion times told lovelier. It means the poet says that the reflection of God, or the we can say picture of God that is reflected from the body of this bird, or from the personality of this bird, is so many times, billion times lovelier than the image, than the reflection we see into our heart. Because in our heart, in our soul, there is also the presence of God. Our soul is also a minor part, it's also a little bit of God. So as we see into our heart, as we see into our soul the reflection of God, so the reflection of God that is seen into the body of this bird, or into the personality of this bird, is billion times lovelier than the reflection or the spark of God we find into our soul. More dangerous, it is more powerful, it is more attractive. O my cavalier, O my savior. So the poet addresses to the Christ that, O Christ, you are reflected into this falcon bird. So this is not a normal bird, this is not a simple bird. The bird is the symbol of God, and the bird is the symbol of Jesus Christ, because in effort, in sacrifice, in adventure, there is the reflection of God. And sacrifice is the symbol of God, because Jesus Christ sacrificed himself, and then Jesus Christ became immortal, became God. Yes, no wonder of it. The poet says that no wonder of it. Seer plowed Max. The poet says that in a simple action or in a simple activity, we can see the picture of God, we can see the reflection of God. So it is not a wonder that we can't see the reflection of God, we can't see the picture of God, because God is present everywhere. We can see God, we can see Jesus Christ in each and every activity or in each and every particle of this world. So he says that seer means mere, plowed means we make a furrow by plowing, or we make a furrow by our efforts. Plow down is we make a furrow, we make a sign with our plow, or when we plowed. Down Cillian, down in the earth, the Cillian means the silicon particles of the dust, shine, they start to shine. So the poet says that by making a furrow with our plow, or we can say with our little effort, we make a furrow with our plow or in plowing activity, then the silical particles of the dust start to shine, and in that shining there is the reflection of God. Each and every shining is the reflection of God. So mere plowing, or we can say mere making a little effort for plow or making a furrow in the earth is the mirror of God, is the reflection of God that can make us able to see the picture of God. So the blue bleak, another example, the blue bleak, blue colored bleak embers. Bleak means the extinguished, embers means the we can say that the fire or the coil that are shining, or the coil that is giving fire. So in a fire coil, when they seem to be extinguished, when they seem to be dead, but when we put some effort, when we move them, then there is a shining, and that shining is the symbol of God, that is shining is the symbol of Christ. So in blue bleak embers, my dear, oh my God, fall gall themselves, because if we remove the ash from these embers, ash from these fire coals, then from inside, from the inner part, there is a reflection of God. There is a shining of fire, there is the spark of fire. In that spark of fire, there is the reflection of God, there is the picture of God. So themselves, and gas gold, gas reflect, gold means of fire color, of gold color, vermilion means red. So the red color of fire, and the red color fire or red colored fire reflects and comes out from these fire coils, which seems to be extinguished, which seems to be dead. But if we put some effort, we move them each other, and we remove the ash from their outward surface, then from the inner part or from inside, the gas gold vermilion, the red color fire comes out, the red color fire and the red color shining of the fire comes out, and in that shining we can see the image of God, we can see the reflection of God. So in this way, the poet says that by doing little effort in our life, or by doing little adventure in our life, we can see the picture of God, we can see the image of God. So God is everywhere in this world, God is omnipotent, omnipresent, and we can see God everywhere in this world. So the poet says that this bird is making effort, this bird is performing adventure, and in that adventure there is the reflection of God. So the poet says that it is not a bird, this is not, we can say, normal bird. The falcon bird is the symbol of adventure, the falcon bird is the symbol of valor, it is the symbol of air, pride, plum, and the bird is the symbol of act and action. So in that all activities, in those all efforts, there is the reflection of God, and we can see God in little things, in all things which we can perform in this world. So, dear students, this is a very important poem of G.M. Hopkins, and it is the representative poem of G.M. Hopkins. It is a religious sonnet because in this poem the poet also expresses his blind faith into the supremacy of God, and he believes that God is everywhere in this world, God is the creator of this world, God is the father of this world. So, we can see everywhere in this everywhere God in this world, but we have to put some effort, we have to perform some adventure, we have to do some little action and activity, so we can see God everywhere in this world. So, in this way we can say that this is a very important poem we have studied today of G.M. Hopkins, and we found that G.M. Hopkins is a religious poet and he expresses his blind faith into the supremacy of God in all his poems. And the structure of this poem is Petrarchan sonnet, and the sonnet is divided into octave and sestet. So, this is the G.M. Hopkins's poem Wind Over, dear students. For today it is sufficient, and in the next class we will study the another poem of G.M. Hopkins. Thank you very much for today.